Today, sir, can we, sir, I don't have any doubt in the programming.
Programming. Have you practiced any foreign while loop programming?
Yes, sir.
Then okay. That you can either do it now or you can do it later. That afterwards you can practice that. If you want to do it
So
now,
the
then also you can do
programming
it.
will do it on my own.
Programming part, either you can do it now or you can do it afterwards, and then whatever you get, wherever you get problems, that you can tell me, or you can do as you like, whichever you want.
Okay.
So now what you want to do?
So,
Where you find means
so then we can start with values and data types.
whatever you find more problematic, that you do first. Okay.
Okay.
In values and data type, I sent you the file, I think, which was
Yes, sir. So I'll just
so
open the.
open the file, and you can also share that file. I'll make the sharing possible. Then you can tell me what are the things you need from there. Yeah, this was the file actually. You can see the file.
Yes, sir.
Huh. So this was actually then we had primitive data types and compound data types. Now these are the 8 primitive data types I gave you. A Boolean, 1 bit, that is storing either true or false. False is the default value. I gave you in one ICSE exam. They asked what is the default value of Boolean. So the default value of Boolean is false or 0. Byte, that is 1 byte or 8 bits, numerical or non-numerical. Short, 2 bytes or 16 bits. Whole numbers, integers, small range integers. Character, 2 bytes, which stores single character, and that's what we were saying about Unicode. A Unicode is a 2-byte character set. That means you can store the scripts and alphabets of all the languages. That is a Unicode. Int, 4 bytes, whole numbers, but wider range than short. Short is also whole numbers, but that is 2 bytes. You have 4 bytes, and actually the range will be wider. Means you can store larger numbers. Long, 8 bytes will store very large numbers. Float and double, both are decimal numbers, sometimes called fractional numbers, sometimes called real numbers. They store fractional numbers. Now, in the only difference is between float and double is one is at 4 bytes and 8 bytes. Another difference is what do we call a single precision and double precision. Means if you have fewer number of decimal places, like I'm saying 3.14153, that will be called a single precision. And if after the decimal point I have many digits, 3.14157356889, then it will be called a double precision, because you have more number of digits means more precision. So after decimal point, how many digits it can store?
I can't hear you, sir.
After you see the file, you see the file.
Yes.
So see the float. In float we are writing how many digits it can store after the decimal point, and double also you see 8 bytes. How many digits it can store after the decimal points? So that is single precision and double precision. Fewer digits in the decimal part, single precision. More number of digits in the decimal part, double precision.
Okay.
Then derived or compound data types. String, class, array, interface. String is called first class derived data type. Then you have array, that and class. Class you have learned, array you will learn later. Now how to calculate a range? That's what I told you. anything. For example, you take an int, 4 bytes or 32 bits. 4 bytes or 32 bits. So 1 bit is reserved for sign, plus or minus sign. So you get 31 bits left. So on the negative side, you have -1, -2, -3. The range is 2 power 31. 31 bits, 2 power 31. So each of them can be either 0 or 1. Each of the bit can be either 0 or 1. Two possibilities. So 31 places, 2 power 31. On the other end, non-negative side, it starts from 0 and not 1. So the range is same thing, minus 2 power 31, 1 less. That is to store 0. In negative, you don't store 0. You start from -1. And on this end, you are starting from 0, not from 1. You are starting from 0, so 1 less. The last range will be 1 less. So range is -1 to -2 power 31 on the negative side, and 0 to 2 power 31 minus 1. Same thing for short, 16 bits. 1 bit you keep it for the plus minus sign, so 15. Negative will be -1 to -2 power 15. Positive will be 0 to same thing, less 1, 2 power 15 minus 1. Up to this, it's okay? Okay?
Yes. Yes.
Then we got tokens. Tokens, the fundamental building blocks. What actually in chemistry we call atoms, that's actually what is tokens. So when we write int a equal to 0 semicolon, now see the token. Int is a keyword, data type, but it is a keyword. A is a variable, also called, okay, let us call it variable now. Equal is an assignment operator, arithmetical operator, assignment operator. 0 is a constant or literal. And the ending semicolon is a terminator. That's what we were saying. Variable, another name identifier. Constant, another name literal. Constant is also called literal, and variable is also called identifier. So int, these are each of the token. Int is a token, it's a keyword. A is a token, which is a variable or identifier. Equal sign is a token, which is an operator. 0 is a token, which is a constant or literal. And semicolon is a token, which is actually a terminator. The terminator, punctuation mark. Sometimes it is also called punctuator. So keyword, they are reserved words. These are reserved words. Int, char, public, static, void, main, class, new, if. There are many, the full list will be given. And have a fixed or predefined meaning. These are reserved words with a predefined or fixed meaning, means you can't use it in other contexts. So we cannot replace these words. When you're writing if else, in place of else, I cannot write otherwise. Else and otherwise mean the same thing in English. When you are saying in English, else and otherwise mean the same thing. But in Java, you can't write instead of else, can I write otherwise? If a equal to 5, if a equal to 5, print pass, otherwise print, no, I can't write. That means the words cannot be replaced by any equivalent word. Int, I can't write full integer, I have to write int. And I have to put small I, not capital I. We cannot use these words in different contexts. Int cannot be used as a variable for interest if you are calculating. Int can be used only for that particular meaning. Int A, int B, int A equal to 5. You can't use it as an variable for interest. You can't use it in another situation. It has a fixed meaning. You have to use that only for that meaning. Then variables or identifiers are user-defined words. These are, you are defining. What I'm calling A, you can call it X. What you are calling X, someone else will call it Y. So you can, these are user defined, whose values may change during the execution of the code. When you are writing A equal to 5, then you are writing A plus plus, then A becomes 6. The value can change. If A equal to 5, you are writing minus minus A, that A becomes 4. The value can change. They simply identify a memory location. Actually, it is the name of a memory location. The value may change, plus plus A, but the address of the memory location remains the same. In the memory location where 5 was stored, in the same place 6 will be stored, and the name will still be A. Then, constant or literals, they are data items, numeric or non-numeric. Value cannot change. 1, 2, 3 are numeric constant without any quote. The value cannot change. You can write A plus plus. I cannot write 3 plus plus. 3 cannot become 4. I cannot write 3 plus plus. A equal to 3, A plus plus is allowed. 3 plus plus is not allowed. So 1, 2, 3, 4, these are numeric constants. You can also have decimal, 5.8, 6.9. Then all the thing in single quote. It can be an alphabet, it can be a symbol, question mark, equal to sign, dollar sign, comma, all these character constants or character literals. Then something in double quote, it can be a single letter, it can be a word, it can be a full sentence. These are string constants or string literals. The numeric constants are numbers. Character constants are in single quotes, and string constants are in double quote. No quote means it has to be either variable or numbers, and double quote means always the string constants, sometimes called string objects, and single quote means character constants or character literals. Then operators. Operators are the symbols which work with variables or constants called operands. When you write A plus B, the plus sign is the operator, and A and B are operands. A and 6 also. Yeah, A plus 6 you can write, A plus B you can write, A multiplied by 6 you can write. So if these will be the plus, minus, equal to, they will be the operators, and A, B, 6, 5, these will be operands. Punctuators or terminators or separators, you put semicolon at the end, you can put comma, int A equal to 5, comma. Comma is also a punctuator. Then operators, how you divide them. One is on the number of operands. One operand is, they call it unary. One operand you are using in two situations. One is to make a number negative. When you write 2, it is positive 2. If you want to write negative 2, you write minus 2. So minus 2, there is only one operand 2, and minus is the operator. So this is a unary operator. Or A plus plus or minus minus A. These are unary operator. Only one operand. Two operands like A plus B, binary operator. Plus is the operator A plus B or A plus 5. These are binary operator. And more than two operands, ternary operator. On the nature of work, arithmetical operators, plus, minus, equal sign, percentage sign for modulus. Relational operators will be less than, greater than equal to, less than equal to, double equal to, not equal to. Not equal to we write with exclamation mark and equal to. And logical operator, double ampersand for and, two vertical bars for or, and exclamation mark for not. They can combine two different conditions, logical operators. A greater than 5, greater than is a relational operator. B less than 10, less than is a relational operator. You're combining the two, A greater than 5 and B less than 10. This AND is a logical operator combining two conditions. Then we have the unary increments and decrements. A plus plus is actually equal to A plus 1. Pre-increments or pre-decrements. So there's a, if you write it before, it is called a prefix, and if you write after, it's called a postfix. And if you do the code, you will find that if you put a prefix, it is first increased and then printed. And if it is a postfix, first the old value will be printed and then the value will be increased or decreased or whatever it is. Yeah. So see that A equal to 5, B equal to 5. When you are saying A plus plus, first it prints the original value 5 and then increases to 6. So next time it will print 6. When you write plus plus B, first it will increase to 6 and then print, and then no more increase. So the second time also 6. So see the output how it comes. A plus plus, it prints 5, then becomes 6. So afterwards it will print 6 in the third line. Plus plus B, it is already increased. So now it is 6. It will print 6. Now no more increment. So even afterwards it will print 6. Then we gave you how to calculate these expressions. Put the arrow. If it is a pre-increment, cut the pre-value, and if it is a post-increment, cut the post-value. So plus plus A, 4 becomes 5. A plus plus, the last value is 5, so 5 becomes 6. My A minus minus, the last value is 6, so 6 becomes 5. Minus minus A, the last value is 5, 5 becomes 4. For prefix, cut the pre-value, postfix, cut the post-value. And then calculate the remaining and you get the answer. This you have to practice because this comes. That's all. So, anything else?
No, sir.
This is
This
the
is
value.
only for data type set. But yes, sir, let's.
What are you saying? Data types? What happened?
So these were only for data types. Sir.
Yeah, data types are there. Then that was operators. Data types and operators. That second part from here, data types you had. Then from here you had where? Up to this was data types. Then tokens. Then there was tokens. Then from here you had the, after this you had the, yeah, here you had the operator. Increment, decrement, this is the operator part. Yeah, here operators. You can see on the top line. Operators. From here the operators. That is page number 4. Page number 4 and 5 are operators. Page number 1 and 2 are data types. Number 3 is the tokens, and 4 and 5 are operators. Page number 1 and 2, data types. Page number 3, tokens. Page number 4 and 5, operators.
Okay.
Then, anything else?
No, sir.
Then, what else?
Sir, can you please explain identifiers once?
Identifier is another name for variable. Another name for, when you are saying A equal to 5, A is a variable. Why is a variable? A can change. A equal to 5. A plus plus, if you say A will become 6. With a minus minus A, then the value of A will decrease by 1. So the value can change. It is called a variable, and variable, another name is identifier. Just like constant, another name is literal. Variable, synonym, another name is identifier, and constant, another name is letter. So identifier, there's nothing new. It is a user given name which indicates a memory location. The value can change. That's the main part. The value of it can change. If I write a equal to 5, at the end of the program, a will not be 5. You can write a plus plus. You can write a equal to a into 2. You can write minus minus a. You can write a equal to a into 5. The value of a equal to 5 at the beginning, a equal to 5, it will not be at the end. So the value can change. That is a variable. And another name for variable is identifier. Similarly, constant means the value cannot change. The value will not change. And another name for constant is literal. They are just synonyms. Variable, also called identifier. Constant, also called letter.
Okay.
Should not contain any space. First is that you cannot use special characters. You can use only the your alphabets, A, B, C, you can use that. You can use numbers. I can use A1, A5 like that, or AB1. You can use underscore, but not any other special character. So you can use underscore, letter, that is the alphabets, and numbers, digits. That is the only thing you can use. Secondly, you can't give a space. If you have to write two different words like full name, you'll have to write full underscore name, or you have to write it as single name. You can't give a space. And third is, you can't begin with a digit. I can't write 6A, I can write A6. You can't begin with a digit. This you have finished? This one, then I'll open the whiteboard and tell you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So first is, what you are using is only these things you can use. You can use the alphabets, A, B, or all the alphabets you can use, both capital and small. You can use the numbers, digits actually, we don't call it numbers, the digits. You can use the digits. All these you can combine. You can use the underscore, this one.
Just a second, sir.
Whatever.
Sir, just a second. I'll just.
This is valid. I can write A underscore 15. That is valid. I can write full name. That is valid. But you can't give a space. You can't use any other character. Means I can't write it as like full, say, dollar name. Now, this will not be allowed. A15 is allowed. A underscore 15 is allowed. Full underscore name will be allowed. But full dollar name, because special characters other than underscore will not be allowed. Similarly, I can't write like this, because space will not be allowed. Blank space, or we call white space, is not allowed. So you can't give a space. You can't use any other character. You will have to use alphabets and digits. And you can't begin with a digit. I cannot write 15A. This will be wrong. But I can write A15. This will be correct. So these are allowed. But this one is not allowed. Similarly, this has a space. This one is not allowed. Similarly, this is A15 is allowed, but 15A, it cannot begin with a number. You have to begin with a letter and then put a number. So these are the, you can use alphabets, digits, underscore, begin with alphabets, then use a combination of alphabets or alphabets and numbers, and you can use underscore but not any other special character. You can't have a space. That is the rule. These are the rules.
Okay, sir. Leo.
So no space, no special character except underscore, then don't start with digits, don't start with digit, use start with alphabet, then can use alphabets, digits, and underscore. This is what we call the rule. No space, no special character other than underscore. You can't start with a digit. You can start with an alphabet, then you can use both alphabet, digits, and underscore, but no space. You can't write it as two different words. One variable should be one word. If you want to write it as two words, then you will have to put an underscore, but you can't leave a space. There's a
Hello, sir.
yeah, tell me. The rules are clear?
Yes, sir.
Start with the first one should be alphabet, then you can use alphabet, digits, underscore, but no space and no special character. Then
And can you please give me some questions with scanner? Because I don't have a lot of, because I just had 2 or 3 in my book.
no, there will be no questions on scanner except that one word answer. You will have to say, I will say input a number.
Sir,
Now you can
program.
input, yeah, that's what I'm saying. A program says input a number or input your name or whatever it is. Now it's up to you whether you're using scanner or buffer reader or as a parameter how you are using. It's up to you itself. I'm showing you.
Okay. Leo.
So then the program is to add two numbers. Simple, let us take to add two numbers. So there are three methods of doing it. You can do by a static one main inside you can write, you can do by scanner, you can do by buffer reader. The two I will show you. When you write by scanner, how do you write? Class, say X. You don't have to copy it. If you want, I'll send it as a file. So this is how you are using a, this is how you are inputting two numbers for adding. So the same program, only the input method will differ. I can use scanner. So for scanner, first what I have to write? Import this one. Then I will write class X. Then I'll write an empty bracket because I'm going to use scanner. Then you'll be defining the scanner. Then you will be using, there are no space here. I'll then write again here. After that, okay. Then after that, you'll be using scanner you have defined, scanner is equal to new scanner. Then you will say, you will give the prompt, system.out.println, enter the first number then what you'll write, a scanner you already written, so you'll write int a, or you can define here before that int abc, that also you can do. You will say int a equal to sc dot next int. The same thing you are going to do for the second number.
Okay.
The same thing you are going to do for the second number. Enter the second number and you are going to write int b equal to, then the same thing. You will write c equal to a plus b, then system.out.println. That part is. So only the input method differs. Whereas here you are saying static void main int a comma b. Here you are saying the static void main empty bracket. You are defining the scanner. Int a equal to sc dot next int b equal to sc, then c equal to a plus b. Only the method of input is going to differ. The program will be the same. So any program which requires you to input something, that you can do by scanner. You can do by either this method, this called parameter input. Static void main within bracket int a comma int b, this is the parameter input. Or you can do by scanner. The same thing you can do by buffer input. Only the input method. After that, all the programs are going to remain the same. There will be no change in the program. So any program where you have got input, that you can do by scanner. What you have done like this, static void main within bracket, the same thing you can do as a scanner. Like in for next program also you can give. They will give you. Like in you can write print odd numbers 1 to x, 1 to n to be entered by the user. So where you are inputting, either you can write static void main within bracket n, and then you can do the program, or you can use scanner, then the static void main empty bracket, then scanner is equal to new scanner that line, then enter the limit, system.out.println, enter the limit, n equal to SC dot next in, then again you do the same for loop. Whichever way you are doing, do the same. It's clear or not clear?
Yes, sir, clear.
If it is not, then I'll want to do one or two programs and show you.
No, sir, clear.
In this case, you do this is the first method, parameter input. In the second case, you are doing, before that you'll write the input. Whatever it is. So there is the input method. First is you are writing static void main bracket intent. Here you are writing scanner is equal to new scanner system dot output println and enter the number and int n equal to. Then afterwards the remaining part is going to be the same. For int I, for I equal to 1, I less than equal to n, I equal to I plus 2. 2 because it is odd number. Odd number means you will get 1, then 3, then 5, then 7. Always the increment will be 2. After 1, you will get 3. After 3, you will get 5. So it will jump by 2. So this part of the program is same. Whether you write the static void main within bracket intent or whether you use scanner, whatever you use, that is the input method. But this part of the program is not going to change. Int I, for loop, that is not going to change. That will remain the same. Whichever way we make the input method. N value you have to input. So static void main int n or scanner you can use again input the value of n, but the main program is going to remain the same for loop. That's not going to change. It is the input method which changes. So this is method 1 and this is method 2 and this is the main program which is going to remain the common for both. Common for this is not going to change. This is going to remain common. Whatever may be the system of input, this is going to remain the same. You write the static void main intent, then also you have to write the same thing. And if you write scanner, then also you have to write the same. And if you write buffer reader, even then you have to write the same. This clear? Okay.
Yes,
So when you do the program in which they ask you to enter a number, once you do by scanner and once you do by that static void main within bracket intent parameter. That name is parameter input. So either you do by parameter input or as scanner method. And later the same thing you can do as buffer reader. But the main program is same. You do some loop programs and also if else program and then some if else program, if else if else. some loop program using for loop, while loop, and do while loop. In that, some of them, if they require input, if they say 1 to 10, then you don't have to input anything. If there is an input, and some of them you use the parameter input, and some of the questions you use the scanner.
Okay. What do we do next, sir?
I'll send you the buffer 2 lines and there's some program, and then see which one you have which one you want to revise. Whichever you feel that you should revise, you tell. You practice the while loop, do while loop, for loop.
Yes, sir.
Practice the for loop, while loop, and do while loop. And whenever input is there, some of the question you do by parameter input, and some of them by scanner method. And practice the if if part, if else, if else, if else, and the for loop, while loop, do while loop. Then the theory part you read whenever you have a problem, and also you practice that one, how to change the expressions. Yeah, AB square, how do you write in that Java expressions? And that value, A plus plus into A minus minus A. These things you practice. That is a practical part. The other things are theory, you read it, and whenever you have a problem, you can ask. What is ternary method, operator, what is binary, what is ternary.
Okay.
What is constant, what is literal, features of Java, what is polymorphism, what are tokens, what is inheritance, what is data binding, what is encapsulation. And you can read it.